Hi, I'm Chris, and this is my final project for Ways of Knowing. I'm going to be talking about something that happened my freshman year of high school.
Why this example?
This particular event made a big impression on me and has carried on throughout the rest of my high school career and will keep with me for the rest of my life.
What was it?
During freshman year, I went on a Global Citizen Week trip up in Chiang Rai. We were staying in bungalows, and I didn't have any friends on the trip with me, so I made some new friends, which are a grade higher, and also girls. Later on in the trip, I was in the room playing Uno, and the supervisor heard noises and came knocking on the doors to see what it was. I was in the girls' room, and the teacher opened the door, and then the next morning they decided we should lie about the event since I was in the girls' room, and it looked pretty bad.
What happened next?
We told the teachers that I was killing a bug for them in their room, but the truth came out from one of my peers, and the lies caught up to the girls and I after multiple interviews with the faculty.
To me, it sounds like you used reason and/or emotion. Am I right?
Yes, that is right. I will be talking about those two ways of knowing in this interview. I will concentrate on emotion and reason, and mainly how both came into play when making the decision to lie or not to lie. The other two ways of knowing are perception and language, but I won't be talking about them.
What is your knowledge issue that you will try and explore?
To what extent does emotion affect reason in making ethical decisions?
What will be your knowledge claim then?
Here it is. Both reason and emotion come into play when making a decision to lie, but emotions change your beliefs to make you think what you're doing is right.
What is emotion? Can you tell us some more about it?
Emotion is derived from the Latin verb movere, meaning to move. It's used in a broad sense to include such things as feelings, passions, and moods. And theories of emotion include three main categories: physiological, neurological, and cognitive.
Which main category played a role in your decision?
I would say that all of those categories came into play when I was making my decision.
What does emotion have to do with what you're talking about?
Well, emotion played a big role in making me decide whether or not to lie. Feelings to be exact, but more than one emotion went on throughout my experience. Emotions can make us distort our beliefs, and this is called irrational behavior. It has us make poor decisions.
Is there a theory for the physiological category that applies to your experience?
Well, yes, there is. It is the James Lange theory.
What is the James Lange theory that you're speaking about?
This theory is one of the most widely known theories for emotion. It was proposed by psychologist William James and physiologist Carl Lange. This theory that we're talking about suggests that emotions occur as a result of physiological reactions to events.
What are some of the physiological reactions that this theory suggests?
Muscular tension, a rise in heart rate, perspiration, and dryness of mouth. The teachers may have known I was lying because of my tensing up when speaking to them, although I think it was because someone else ratted us out.
Did any of those physiological responses happen to you when you were faced in this situation?
Actually, yes, it did. I could feel my heart beating on my chest because I was telling a lie to someone that could determine my future in the school. And it was also only freshman year.
So why did you choose to lie?
Well, as I said before, I lied because I didn't want to get in trouble, but that's not a good reason. Honestly, I thought that I was going to get away with it because all the other peers that were being asked told me to lie. So we all made a story, so we had it straight.
Who exactly told you to lie?
The people that told me to lie were the girls I was with in the room. They told me the story, and I followed what they had to say.
How come you listened to them? Did your gut tell you anything different?
Well, I listened to them because I thought they knew that what we were doing, what they were doing. They were in a grade higher, and I felt like they knew what they were doing. Like I said, I honestly thought that if I do what they say, nothing would happen to me.
Did this reason drive your decisions?
Yes, this is ultimately the reason that I made an unethical decision of lying.
Did you listen to them because you felt scared?
Yes, the emotion that I was feeling was fear because I didn't want to get in trouble. So when I was in this emotion of fear, I felt like the right thing to do was lie because the girls told me to.
So you're saying that they used you?
Yes, I felt like they did because obviously my gut feeling was not to lie because I grew up being told that lying was bad, and from past experience when I lied to my parents, I would get in trouble. After lying to my parents, they would tell me that if you didn't lie, I wouldn't have gotten they wouldn't have given me a bad consequence for what I've done. It's part of my mental map.
So your gut told you not to lie, but you still did anyways?
Yes.
Did you think of any long-term consequences?
No, I did not think of any long-term consequences of lying to the faculty. Although I knew it was wrong to do, emotion easily blinded me to the longer-term consequence. So honestly, I didn't really think about what was going to happen.
So you've already talked a lot about emotion and the James Lang theory and how it came into action when you were lying. And you said before that you're going to talk about reason as well. So can you explain what reasoning is?
Yes, I can talk about it. Reasoning is when you think, understand, and form judgments logically.
So how did reasoning apply to this experience?
Well, I don't want to speak much about reasoning, but it did come into play. The main ways of knowing was motion. So the reasoning that I used in this experience was deductive reasoning. I went from general to particular. So, for example, upperclassmen know what to do. The girls I was with were upperclassmen. Therefore, the girls knew what to do. And that was my logic when I went into that situation.
Did reason help you to decide whether or not to lie?
Yes, it did, because I thought with my reasoning that lying was a reasonable thing to do.
So do you think emotion or reason made you lie?
I would say both, actually, because reason because I deduced that the girls knew what to do, and this was my main drive. But then my emotions came into play, and I was scared, and my emotions distorted my beliefs of knowing that lying was wrong because I didn't want to get into trouble. It blinded me from the long-term consequences of ultimately being suspended for a day from school. I adjusted my beliefs because I wanted to bring my emotions in line with reason.
What can you take out of this experience and apply to future experience that may happen?
I would say that you should just do what you feel is the right thing to do at that moment and try and not let your emotions blind you from anything that can hurt you in the long term, but keep the consequences for both choices in mind. I was just young in this experience, and honestly, it really opened up my eyes for me to see that every choice you make has a consequence. So you always should do the right thing, even if reason twists your mind into making you think that doing something unethical is the right thing to do.
Can you repeat your knowledge claim?
Yeah, sure. Both reason and emotion come into play when making a decision to lie, but emotions change your beliefs to make you think what you're doing is right.
Tell me the theories that you used.
I used the James Lang theory to determine that it was wrong for me to do because I physiologically felt bad for what I did.
So what do you do now?
What
What do you know now?
Now I know that both reason and emotion come into play when choosing to lie or an unethical decision, and because I went through this experience of lying and analyzed what my thought process was throughout that experience. Let's see.